Robbie Keane has held talks with Celtic, and the manager search is suddenly moving very fast. We've also got a confirmed transfer departure today involving a winger you will remember well, a brand new plan for Martin O'Neill that nobody saw coming, and Celtic legend Paul McStay speaking exclusively about a movement that could change the way this club is run forever. Let's get into it, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Luis Palma has left Celtic permanently after Lech Poznan triggered their buy option on the Honduran winger for a fee of €4 million, which works out at around £3.5 million. The Polish champions moved to activate the clause before Monday's deadline, securing the player on a 3-year contract until June 2029. It is a club record signing for Lech Poznan, and they moved decisively to get the deal done after interest from elsewhere started to build. Reports had linked Sevilla with a move for Palma following his impressive loan spell in Poland, and it appears that Spanish interest helped speed up Lech's decision to trigger the clause rather than risk losing him. Palma's time at Celtic never really worked out. He arrived with genuine excitement around him and showed flashes of real quality under Brendan Rodgers, but consistency was always the problem. Competition for places made it harder for him to build momentum, and eventually the loan to Poland gave him the fresh start he needed. In Poland, the picture changed completely. Across league and Conference League football this season, he contributed 11 goals and 10 assists, helping Lech win the Polish title. That is the kind of return that makes a permanent move a straightforward decision for everyone involved. For Celtic, the deal brings in a solid fee for a player who had run out of road at Parkhead. The funds go back into the summer rebuild, and Palma gets a home where he is clearly valued. It ended up working out well for both parties. Now for the main story, as Celtic have held what are being described as constructive talks with Robbie Keane over the vacant manager's position, and further discussions are already scheduled. The news broke this evening from respected journalist Anthony Joseph, who confirmed that Celtic's principal shareholder Dermot Desmond is also due to speak with Martin O'Neill to gauge whether the 74-year-old has any appetite to remain involved at the club in some capacity moving forward. That last detail is the one that opens the door to a scenario beyond a simple choice between the two men. It raises the question of whether O'Neill might stay involved in a different role rather than as first-team manager, while Keane takes the dugout. Keane's credentials as a manager are genuine. He won the Israeli title with Maccabi Tel Aviv and then won the Hungarian championship with Ferencváros. His connection to Celtic is well known from his loan spell in 2010, when he scored 16 goals in just 19 appearances and became an instant favourite with the support. If appointed, Keane is believed to want Stephen Glass, Scott Brown and Johnny Hayes as part of his backroom staff, which would bring real Celtic identity into the coaching setup. The manager search has been the biggest story around the club all summer. After weeks of speculation, names ruling themselves out, and agents confirming no contact, this is the first time the process has moved into actual talks. Tonight feels like the moment things start to get serious. In other news, a new plan has emerged around Martin O'Neill's future at Celtic that suggests the club may not need to choose between him and Robbie Keane as a straight either-or decision. According to TalkSport, Celtic are open to keeping O'Neill involved in another capacity at the club should he decide that continuing as manager is not the right move for him. That would allow Celtic to retain the knowledge and experience of a man who delivered the domestic double, while also moving forward with a new permanent appointment in the dugout. O'Neill has been publicly uncertain about whether he wants to continue in a full-time role after an exhausting season. He took over in January, turned the club's form around, won the title on the final day in dramatic circumstances against Hearts, and then lifted the Scottish Cup at Hampton against Dunfermline. That is an enormous amount to deliver in a short space of time, and it would be no surprise if the idea of stepping back from first-team management appealed to him. The same TalkSport report states that Keane is currently well placed in the race. If the arrangement being discussed involves O'Neill in a director of football or advisory role with Keane as the permanent head coach, then both men could still have a significant part to play as Celtic prepare for Champions League qualifying and a new season. Nothing has been confirmed. But tonight's events make the picture clearer than it has been at any point since the season ended. In other news, Celtic legend Paul McStay has spoken exclusively to Celtic News today about the Season Ticket Alliance Trust and has named the ultimate goal of the entire project in very clear terms. McStay is fronting the New Supporter Initiative, which aims to give Celtic season ticket holders a stronger and more organised voice at the club. The former Celtic captain was direct about what he wants this movement to achieve in the long run. He told Celtic News, "The ultimate objective is to get somebody on the board. It just makes sense that Celtic supporters should have that capability to have somebody on the board to help with the communication between the Celtic board and supporters, and also accountability. Even although we've had a great season this year, it ended up fantastic with Martin and the boys winning the double. I think this is about the future of the club. Rather than have a voice protesting in the stadium or outside the stadium, I think it's an opportunity to galvanise the support. I think it's deserved. That is a significant statement. McStay is not calling for a short-term reaction to one difficult period. He is looking at the long-term relationship between the supporters and the boardroom and arguing that the people who fill Parkhead every second week deserve a seat at the table where decisions are made. Supporters who want to learn more or get involved can visit stat26.com, where the Alliance outlines its plans in full. Lastly, Paul McStay has also addressed a question that has been coming up at every event the Season Ticket Alliance has held since it launched, and the answer will be welcome news for Celtic fans around the world who are not currently season ticket holders. McStay confirmed exclusively to Celtic News that the Alliance does plan to open up to supporters beyond the season ticket base, including fans in Ireland, Australia, America, and beyond who follow every game, subscribe to Celtic TV, and travel when they can, but simply cannot be at Parkhead every second week. He said, "I think that will happen." You're right, that's been a popular question, I think, every event we've been at, even over here, like my brother-in-law's. They're all Celtic mad, obviously. They've got their Celtic TV subscriptions. I think the idea just to focus on Celtic season tickets is the right thing to do. I think Celtic season ticket holders deserve that opportunity. It will open up, and that's something that's definitely on the cards. McStay was clear that starting with season ticket holders is the right foundation. Those supporters make the biggest yearly financial commitment to the club and are there for the less glamorous Tuesday nights in February as much as the big European nights under the lights. But the promise that the door will open to a wider global support further down the line is exactly what fans living abroad will have been waiting to hear. Celtic belongs to people all over the world, and McStay clearly understands that. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one.